Hello, welcome back to Football United TV and the Football Politics Show. Today, I'm with Amondi and Charlie, and we're talking about the old lady of Juventus and the fraud that might possibly be going on at the club. Let's go. Yes, people, welcome back to the Football Politics Show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Press subscribe, share, like if you can. I'm here with two fellow DJs, Amondi from the Man United Agenda. How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, great, man. Great. How you doing, Matty? How you doing, Marley?
I'm an Arsenal fan, mate. Don't ask me that question.
Still a bit sore, eh? Still a bit sore for you?
Yeah. Feeling a bit sore. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's all right. Lick your wounds. It's okay. There's another game to come up for you guys. You can bounce back. Don't worry about it. Today, though, we're talking about Juventus and the possibilities of them being relegated from Serie A. Now, I know this has happened before with the club, and maybe was a little bit different back then because the players like Del Piero stayed with Juventus in order to get them back up. Yeah. This time around might not be the same thing. Monday, I wanted to ask you about this as well. What do you make of this potential news coming out? I mean, it shakes up the football world because it shows you maybe this is why Juventus wanted a Super League, because they knew that this might potentially happen.
Look, the boy who cried wolf, this has happened many times before. I mean, in Italian football, it's always been match fixing, rigged games, payoffs for referees, scandals, transfers. It's always been that way. I mean, since I've been on this earth, I remember the Paolo Rossi thing, the big incident when he had, I forget what it was now. He was maybe some match fixing and drugs, doping as well. This is back before, and then he came back in 1982 and became top goal scorer, and Italy won the World Cup. But it's this in Italian football. There's always been this issue about corruption, and there's nothing new. So when you hear these headlines, it's not like it's shaking up the football world. It's just, here we go again, in a way, And like you said, I mean, we can talk about the history, but go back to 2006 when Juve had a brilliant team, and they won. I think they won the league the previous 2 seasons, and then and losing one game in one season, And they were getting to the Champions League final. I think it was at Old Trafford. Was it AC Milan? The AC Milan played Juve in Old Trafford penalties.
Yes.
Was that the one? Yeah, that's right. So they were up there. They were a top team at this stage, and they got done for match fixing and corruption, and there was, because they were doing initially an investigation into doping, which was thing, and then they discovered further dirty work, So they were relegated. I think it was Trezeguet, Del Piero, Buffon stayed, a couple of guys. Obviously, they came back straight away and they've re-established themselves. But this new allegation is just coming out. I mean, I know a lot of, between us, I'm sure we can talk about all the details and what's happening here. But I just think this is a small part. I don't think it's to do with the so-called Super League. I just think it's a small part of a lot of information being released recently. There's been a lot. I don't know if you know, there was a guy called Romain Molina who came out recently, and he's a big-time journalist, and he's been exposing a lot of things, a lot of corruption that goes on in football. Some things that we really questionable whether we should even talk about on this show. It's that deep. There's some real dodgy stuff going on behind the scenes, and I think when you scratch the surface, we see it in English football. sort of like the abuse of children, that kind of thing. We've seen a lot of cases recently: Chelsea, Rangers, Celtic, all the coaches years later, 20, 30 years later, getting exposed and getting arrested and admitting to sort of some dodgy stuff and abuse of their power, with young boys. And then there's currently in Haiti, the president of the FA out there. He's been entrusted with a lot of money. Do you remember we done a show on FIFA and all the corruption? But he's been entrusted with a lot of money in women's football. I noticed you did a brilliant show the other day on women's football, and there was a lot of abuse with women, with girls. And this Haitian top dog in the FA, he's been. You can imagine how deep it goes, with girls and that kind of thing. And one of the big American football stars out there who sort of is the championing all this women's stuff and pro, equality and all this kind of thing. She knows all about it, and she's getting exposed by this journalist because he's saying she knows everything about it and has not said a word about this this kind of thing. So it goes deep. I mean, when you talk about conspiracies and all this stuff is coming out now. It's opening up. And I think Juventus is just a small part of it. There's so much bigger stuff going on. I mean, you just think if you just talk about football and all the alleged things that goes on behind the scenes, and then times it by tenfold, and the worst thing you could possibly imagine, that's where we're going with that.
You made some really good points there, mate. And actually, it was nice to hear that because I didn't realise that's what's going on with that. And also, you said about 2006. It was the year that Italy won the World Cup, wasn't it, as well? So
yeah, it was.
And like, do you see? I'm trying to make you join the dots. Back in '82, they won the World Cup. That's when Paolo Rossi was involved in that big scandal and everything else. Same thing applied, So it's interesting that.
Yeah, what do you make of it, Charlie? I mean, this could be very bad news for the fans of Juventus because the owners know exactly what they're doing. If they have been doing it, of course. Mm-hmm. And I think it affects Serie A a lot, doesn't it? You mean they're having problems anyway with making money and getting views. And if Juventus drop out, who are a club that is very well supported around the world, to be fair, even with or without players like Ronaldo, what do you think this means for the club, like going forward, if they get done for this possibility of fraud?
Yeah, I mean it's a scary thought, and it's good that you guys mentioned the one that happened in 2006 and you mentioned that Juventus is still very dominant in Italy. Perhaps it's more dominant than it was back then, but they were more powerful when it comes to European football back then. Like they had a lot of idols, right? Like Nedved was there, and he stayed for the second division as well. I remember very vividly. Okay. Like Amandi's got a couple, like, I don't know, like 10, 15 years on me. Maddie's got like 40 years on me, but I do remember that very vividly. I think I was 13. Never really liked Juventus. Never did, so didn't really care. But I remember that then, like, they had a lot of idols. Most of them stayed. If one or two stayed, it would have sufficed for them to go back to the first division. But now it's going to be a different situation. We all know they're going to come back. Right, like unless they start the second division with I don't know, like minus 40 points or something, they're gonna come back. Their reserve team is good enough to win. I'm assuming it's called Serie B.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like this time it's gonna be a little trickier to get back to the old Juve. I think it's gonna be quite the hit. Plus, if it happens twice, dude, like it's really embarrassing. In like 15 years. The biggest club in Italy being relegated twice. Come on, that's an embarrassment.
But not even for reasons of football, like performances or matches.
You could argue that would have been more embarrassing. But yeah, like this is really dirty and embarrassing.
No, you're right about that. Actually, fans would probably see that more embarrassing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Mondi, mate. I mean, looking at this comment as well from Rebel, big up Rebel as well. He's saying that there's some players. You was talking about Cancelo as well, and
Danilo,
right?
Help us out, Marley.
Yes,
Danilo.
By the way, I'm not Portuguese, but I do speak it. Cancelo, not Cancelo.
Cancelo. I say Cancelo. So what's the true pronunciation then?
For Cancelo?
Yeah.
I mean, they pronounce it slightly different. It's more like closed, but I think it's Cancelo. Cancelo. Yeah. João Cancelo.
So it's not obviously, Amundi, the players' fault, is it? Do you think they've been used in this? I mean, he's only going to be asked questions if Ronaldo is being investigated. He's not in with this mix, is he? I mean, he can't be, can he?
Well, the information I've got, I think it's the Panic going from Juve to Barcelona with a swap deal for Arthur Melo, who is a lot younger. And you're thinking, well, Melo's a young, top talented Brazilian. Why would he do that? So it's not a straight swap. But it's about the valuation of these players as well. And this is when you're in financial difficulty, this is what they tend to do. And as said, this obviously the second one was so that's between Barca and Juve, with Brazilian and Panic, who's as Bosnian. Is he Bosnian? Yeah, international.
Yeah.
Bosnian.
Bosnian. Yeah, maybe around.
Yeah, good player though. And Danilo. How am I with that? Danilo.
That was perfect.
Oh, there you go. Danilo and I've just been learned Cancelo.
That was good too.
Okay. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, so Man City, people are saying, well, that's Man City. Do they know about it? Are they involved? Who knows? But what we do have here, there's a guy called Malagi or something. He's a former scout from the 70s. He was general manager in the late 80s at Juve. This guy's got a lot of influence, and he's always been involved with match fixing. When they did the 2006 investigations, they wiretapped everybody, and then they couldn't release it because obviously so much scandal. Who do you send it to? This information, do you send it to the people who run the FA or the Italian Football Federation thing, or the president of the countries? The Milan president at the time, whoever. Who do you send it to where it's going to get a fair trial? You don't know. So they sent it to the press, and all this stuff was released. And it turned out, so for example, they say, oh, it was like this guy had influence over referees, and he'd say he would get more favorable referees to manage Juve games, kind of thing, And it's a lot deeper. You have to really dig deep to really get the true story here. But it's something to do with fit referees, getting favorable referees who favor Juve. Players would get booked for certain games, so they would miss big games, that kind of thing. Score lines would be fixed. So there was conversation, for example, in a telephone tap when they said, "Oh, we want 4-1, we want to win 4-1," and they went and won 4-1, for example. So all this thing is deep. I mean, we watch things as sports. I've always said for a long time things can be rigged. It's easy done. Are the players involved? Quite possibly, yeah. We just don't know. We see them. Oh, we know these guys. He went to school, whatever. You just don't know what's going on, and it opens a whole can of worms when you start to dig really deep into this. So this one guy has got a lot of power, got a lot of influence. He's had a lot of communication with the head of the referee associations and all that kind of thing. So it's about winning favor. Like old school gangster stuff. This is mafioso kind of stuff. Like in boxing, you used to hear this about in boxing. You got to fall in the 7th. You got to go down in the 7th, and that kind of thing. This is how they do it, and it's clearly done in football as well, especially in the Italian league. And they were saying that the Irish league in South America is very rigged. The Asian leagues, all this kind of thing. We've seen this with the IPL and cricket. There's a lot of match fixing and scores and how many no balls this over, that kind of thing. Players can get influenced in these things. We saw with Bruce Gobler. He was accused many years ago for Liverpool for being involved in match scandal. And you think, well, how can he? And then they showed a few goals where he's like maybe not trying hard enough to save it, or so one player in the team could have that enough influence. And once you've seen it when you've seen match fixing games being exposed, you can see that one player or captain could say to everyone else, or 3 or 4 players on the pitch, we want this scoreline. We've got to be a draw or something like that. And they have got enough influence on the pitch. Some of these might be oblivious to it, but some clearly have to be involved as well. So the mismatch fixing thing is a complete corruption, and it does go on. Let's not pretend it doesn't go on. And there's a lot more things that will come out very soon, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good point because I was thinking as well. Sorry, just quickly, Charlie. The Jude Bellingham recently is under scrutiny, isn't he, for his comments he made after the
Bayern Munich game, yeah.
Right, and he said about the referee. the referee had a 6-month ban. He's come back. He's refereeing that game. He said, you never know. Like, the guy has been done for, and he's under scrutiny for it. But like you said, it does happen, and that's a case as well where people didn't know about it, and then the press came out and sort of said, look, we found out about this match fixing scandal in Germany, and then that's when everybody knew about it. So it does try to get, I guess, squashed by some of these football leagues that don't really want people to know what's going on. Charlie, sorry before interrupting you, mate. What did you want to say?
I have a couple of things to say. Well, first of all, this Jude Bellingham situation, it's funny. Like, it annoys me in so many different ways. Like, first of all, he spoke the truth, and he's being fined for it. What he said makes absolute sense. Right? Like, it's a ref known for match fixing, and you put him literally in the biggest game in the country. So that makes no sense whatsoever. But what pisses me off the most is that Jude Bellingham's an 18-year-old man. He was fined £40,000, and that's a week's worth for the motherfucker. So that really irritates me.
Not even that.
Yeah, probably less. So
I think there's a couple of days. But look, I guess, wouldn't you blame the club that, just going on that quickly, wouldn't you blame the club for putting in an 18-year-old who only just turned 18 this summer to speak on something like that? They must have given him the all clear to say that. I mean, he was the one that was told to go and speak to the press. I mean,
yeah, but it's one of those things, dude. Like, he was fined and all of that. Sure, if he repeats his actions, he's probably gonna get, like, he might get suspended or something like that. But it's $40,000. Like, it's nothing for him. It's nothing for the club if the club helps him, if they feel like they have to. But it was a PR win. I don't see anyone on the other side of this conversation, right? Like, I feel like Bellingham's being supported. But
if what he's saying, Charlie, is true, and it should be looked at, that maybe that was possible. Looking at it in the Juventus thing as well, I mean, does it have a resemblance?
Yeah, it's like Amundi was saying to me. It's football. It's the most popular sport in the world, and we live in a corrupt world. Like, football is going to show what society is all about. Like, he was saying that it happens a lot in South America, and it's true. Like, the year before Juventus got relegated, 2005 was our most scandalous year in Brazil when you're talking about football. It wasn't really like one particular team. It was one ref. I forget his last name, but his first name was Adilson. And like, he was involved in this huge scheme. There was a huge, like, business owner that just pretty much bought him, and he was match fixing every single game that he was the ref. Like, he would place huge bets on that one, and it was found out, and I think it was 18 games had to be replayed after the competition was done, and that changed the champion and all of that. The Internacional was supposed to win. That's well, you know that team, right? Like, the red team. Pato used to play there. You get a bunch of famous players. But after the games were replayed, Corinthians ended up winning. That was the Corinthians that had Carlos Tevez playing there, Mascherano. That was a big Corinthians side. Yeah, no, they had a lot of. I think
good talent.
I think it was. I think Chelsea's owner had investments in Corinthians back then. But
Roman.
Like, something like, I might be talking out of my butt. It was a Russian kind of guy, so maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. But yeah, that was a huge scandal. But it wasn't like, people assume Corinthians had something to do with it because they won so much from this whole situation. But it happens all the time, dude. It happens all the time. But the fact that it still happens with VAR, it's mind blowing. Go ahead.
I think VAR doesn't really do anything. I think they can easily edit stuff very quickly, to put things in their favor. So when you see this line going across, they can move. It's quite possible. I wouldn't put that out of the question that they can. It makes it even more designed now to be corrupt, maybe, because they can change things. You just don't know. This is the thing. This is why I think you should go back to the referee's decision, and that's it. And bringing all these other people into it, by the time it takes them, they can edit things and make it look like it is offside when it wasn't, or that kind of thing. You know, it's really thing. The whole thing is, I don't like to have these conversations because we all love sport and I like competition, I think, but we have to accept, right, that it's a dirty business. Wherever money's involved, things are dirty. And sport, I've said this before, no matter what, all sports are rigged. Okay. Now you can only have to look at what's going on in Formula One right now, and you can say, well, how can they fix that? You just have to dig a little deeper. There's so much money involved. How can you? What's so? It's massive going into this final week. There's going to be two guys going head to head. Finally, on the same points, going a thing, and everyone's going to tune in. Big money. Do you understand what I'm saying? If it didn't go that way, everybody, this guy's won it already, 5 races to go or something like that. You know, so you have to question these things. Same with basketball. If you look at I've studied a lot of basketball, and I think it's honestly a lot of stuff goes on in that sport which is really, really suspicious, you know. So don't put it past football just because we love football so much and everything else. Every single sport has the capability of being rigged. We have to accept that.
So we're not all clean from it, are we? I mean, I'm pretty sure every club in history has probably done something that's been over the line as of, you know, breaking the law, right? I mean,
yeah. Just to add. So we're looking at this with this Juve, going back to Juve now. So it's a 50 million pound euros thing. They're obviously in trouble with their money, so they have to balance the books and everything else. But it's not just them; it's Napoli as well. With the signing, they bought the guy from Lille, the striker from Lille, for like a big money, 70 million or something. Victor, I forget his name now. I forget the guy they bought from Lille, African guy who went from Lille straight to the Napoli a couple of seasons ago.
Osimhen.
I don't think his name is Argyman. He's from Lille.
Osimhen.
Yeah, something like that. Someone in the comments will know. I forget his name now. Something like that. He's banged goals for Lille. He's done all right-ish for Napoli, but not been outstanding. Not 70 million worth. And people are questioning that. That's in the mix as well. And then you've got Parma, Sampdoria, and other clubs as well in this. So once this all gets established and comes out, a lot of clubs are going to have to pay the penalty, just like in 2006. Even though Juve got relegated, AC Milan had fines. Other big clubs had fines, but managed to stay in the league for it. You know, it's just that people are digging deeper, and obviously within this internet world, there's a lot more information out there, and a lot of people are taking risk by releasing this stuff. You know, and it's all coming out. But the biggest scandal, like I say, is not just about Juve. I think Juve is just a little small piece in the puzzle. It's the biggest scandals, all these other things going out. We're not really supposed to talk on this stuff, but if you look at the Mendy situation, you know, not just Mendy, the Mendy of Real Madrid, he's apparently, you know, it's come out, he was sold by Lyon because they had to cover things up about some of his activities. If you look at the Arsenal players, they've been involved. You've seen footage of them, Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang, the guy who's playing at Marseille now, the midfielder, Ganguzi, all these guys sitting around doing the balloons. And apparently, all these players are involved in that. Some guys are addicted to that. They say the Mendy guy, the left back at Real Madrid now, they say he's an alcoholic. He's got raging alcoholic. He's always getting in trouble with that sort of thing, you know. And if you look at the Bayern Munich right back, the French guy, Pavard, his standards are dropped because he's doing something. He's addicted to something. Mendy's apparently punched a woman, and then Mrs. Mendy, who I don't know if I should be saying this, but Mendy, the left back from Real Madrid, apparently when he was at Lyon, just where he left, he punched a woman and pulled out his genitals and that kind of thing. Arsenal players with helium balloons. Benjamin Mendy at Manchester City. The reason why he's been arrested, he was on bail. He went to Dubai while he's on bail. That's why they've arrested him now. You see what I'm saying? He went on a private jet, and it was kind of thing. There's a current international now who current French international right now who was filmed pooing in someone's mouth at a party. You know, so it's deep. It goes really deep. Match fixing, abuse. The Haitian, like I said, the Haitian president, not the president, the FA guy. There's 400 players.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that the Haitian president is probably corrupt too. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is. Oh, clearly. Yeah. I think they say there's 400 odd players in the Premiership and in the other French league and all that kind of thing who all suffered child abuse and some of them have had to have issues with their backside. You know, you understand what I'm saying? That kind of thing. It's rife. There's a lot of things going on that we as fans, we just but we just don't know. We just don't know. But I think by next year, a lot more will be revealed, and it's going to really shake up the game. You know, like so. This Juve thing is I think it's just a small piece again because we've seen this before.
Well, to end up then, I'm just going to ask you both: what do you think we should do as fans and as a community who appreciates and loves sport in general? What we should be doing? Should we be bringing it up like we're trying to now? We're not trying to like point the finger at anybody, but we're just trying to say that like you said, Amundi, that it happens in every sport. Like there is corruption in everything in life in general. There's corruption in everything we do, and we have to try and be aware of these things so you know that what you're supporting is not necessarily doing what they say they're doing for you. You know, like they might seem like it's for the fans, and then suddenly you realize that it's all about the money. It's all about something, an agenda that they've got, and it affects people like us because we enjoy the sport, right?
Yeah, I'll just finish up. I totally agree. I think we really have to be realistic. One thing, we just don't invest too much. Like, don't idolize people too much because you just don't know what goes on. Yeah. People, they know that people are tribal. They like the fact that people are tribal about their teams. They march for their teams, thousands of people every week, and that's a distraction, isn't it, from other things? So this is part of it. So you can get caught up in it. I like it for the sport, the engagement. I like the beauty of it, sports, that kind of thing. But don't get invested in people because they will let you down. This is the thing. Stars, players, you just don't know what they're involved in. So everyone loves Beckham, for example. I'm not accusing Beckham of anything, but you just don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. What he really gets up to, or who the real person is. And I just think so. What I'm saying is all allegations come from Roman Molina. So it's all out there. You look him up. Roman MONMAIN, Molina MOLINA. Yeah, he's a journalist. He's out there. He done a Twitter. You know, they do these Twitter recording things these days.
Yeah,
and we can have a conversation like on the voice thing, and all the journalists are in there. Who's the Liverpool centre back? Big guy from Germany, black guy, just turned up. Liverpool. Coyote. He was in there. So many players were watching on, you know, listening in to see what was going on, you know. So check him out, Roman Molina, because I'm not making this up. This is just thing. It's been going on for a long time, and he's going to release a lot of stuff next year. So the Juve thing is just highlights again how much corruption's in the game.
Yeah, Anthony, you were a very naughty boy the other night, going to Christmas do and getting drunk and coming on my stream with all your profanities. Charlie, what? Yeah. To end it up, mate, what do you think we should be doing? Like Monday said there, can you catch on from that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo his words a little bit and maybe develop a little more. It's like that. Like, try to appreciate football as a silly sport, dude. Because, you know, don't lose your mind over losses. Like, try to be cool. Appreciate footballers for being athletes, not people. Because, you know, like, mankind is corrupt. Like, we've been on this earth for a long time to know that more often than not, we're evil, dude. So, like, the more power you have, the more you usually abuse it. And the more you have to lose, the more you're willing to protect it, no matter how little integrity is involved in that. So, dude, it's tough. Footballers have a lot of money. They have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence. If you look into it, you're going to see some shady shit. I did not know someone took a poo in someone's mouth and was filmed. That's news to me. But, dude, it's
a current French international.
You know, yeah, dude. Yeah. That's not a poo. That's a poo. But yeah, it's a poo-poo.
But like I said, these are all allegations. This is all what this guy Roman Molina is stating.
Yeah.
And you'll see all the information come up.
Yeah. If you want to, I think Amoni's really right about that. Is we're not here to, like, you know, jump on anyone's bandwagon. We're just discussing it. Juventus might not actually have done anything wrong, and I hope they haven't as well. And I hope for the fans too that this doesn't happen. But like we said, unfortunately, corruption does happen. You have to be wary about it.
Yeah.
And it's good to at least talk about it. And a Monday as well. And Charlie, you said, I have no inclusion on this chat. You've had a lot of inclusion, just the same as a Monday. And I've learned from that in this 30 minutes. So thank you guys for coming on. A Monday, where can we find you? I believe the Man United agenda is at 1K right now. Is that correct?
That's alleged. I'm not here to talk about things. That's how we go. That's how we move forward. It's alleged, baby. Yeah. So I cannot tell you whether it is either way or it isn't. But yeah, that's the intention. We do try to sort of our main thing at the Man United agenda is to report news on Manchester United, report news on football, follow our football side, enjoy the game. You know, that's the most important thing. Just enjoy the game, get behind our team and support our team. That's what we do. And I think we're doing a good job at the moment, you know. So, yeah, you can find us at the Man United agenda. If you don't support Man United, still come along, give us a like, give us a subscribe, you know, because we've got some great people on our panel, and that includes Matt and Charlie, who's I'm definitely going to invite on because he's never been on our show. So you've got to come on and watch this. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Where can we find? Oh, hang on a minute. Do I have to ask you this, Marley, or do I need? Yeah.
No, you can ask me. Well, first of all, I just want to let you guys know that Roman Molina is currently taking a look at the way too fast growth that the Man United agenda had. So, keep your eyes up. But, dude, find me here. This is my home. But find me on Steven's channel. I'm actually gonna go there right now as Featly TV, and find me on the Man United agenda for sure, because I'm definitely gonna be showing up as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Brilliant show today. Chatting really quickly. I'm back on tomorrow with Maisie with La Ligue des Champions show at 10 o'clock after all the games are finished, so we can roll through the where people finish in the groups. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Solo, coming back in. Thank you, bro. Niall Kane and Solo again with the crying laughter. Yep, we are funny people. Until next time, people, take care. See you later. And bon voyage.